Rest assured that I won't try to force anyone to believe it. But personally, I strongly support this interpretation because it's really especially valid for what we have planned here. Because South Africa and Mercedes-Benz, the number 6 is definitely the lucky number these days. And let me explain why. We are celebrating 60 years of Mercedes-Benz cars produced here in East London. And to make this plant ready for the future, we will invest, and this is an unbelievable number, 600 million euros at this site. And this makes the almost unbelievable number of 10 billion rand. And we have 6 good reasons. 6 good reasons why the entire country will benefit from this commitment. But before we talk about East London's future, let me first have a look in the rich past of East London. And actually, there's not just one, but 2 big anniversaries we are celebrating actually this year. 70 years ago, Car Distributors Assembly decided to build a factory here. It opened its doors 2 years later. Back in 1950, the first automobiles were assembled here in East London. However, there was one decisive thing missing, I have to admit. None of them bore the famous 3-pointed star. So luckily, this changed in 1958, when the East London plant started to produce now the famous models of W120, W121 and W180. So the older gentlemen here among us might know what I mean. So this year we are looking back on 6 decades of Mercedes-Benz from East London. It is nothing but a success story how the plant has developed over time. And just remember, the first Mercedes car assembled here 60 years ago were exclusively made for the local South African market. Today, the East London plant is a global player with an annual production of almost 120,000 vehicles. And these numbers make this site a key part of the local and global production network of Mercedes-Benz. It is the number 1 place of only 4 plants in the world that make C-Class, and it's the largest. As our highest, yes, please give yourself an applause. As our highest volume model, this car is definitely a cornerstone of our success, and so is this plant. Today, after 6 decades of hard work, high-quality vehicles from East London are not only built for South African customers. Cars that roll off these lines here are also winning the hearts of demanding customers in Europe, in Asia, and in America. Out of Africa for the world, as we say. And each and every one of you can be extremely proud that the result of your dedicated and hard work can be seen all around the globe, on the roads of South Africa, as well in the streets of London, Tokyo, and New York, and even on 5th Avenue. So you contribute to the economic success of this country. You drive the high export rates. The plant is a key factor in South Africa's national trade balance. We can look back on the past 6 decades with enormous pride because we know this plant's outstanding development wouldn't have been possible without the great people working here, and that's you. Thank you. And let me just speak on behalf of the entire Mercedes-Benz management and the board when I say we value and we appreciate all the effort and all the dedication you put daily in your work. Thank you very much for this, and let's keep up this spirit for the next 60 years. This leads me to more future topics and directly to the second 6 that plays an important role for East London and for Mercedes-Benz. Together with you, we want to write the next chapter of this site's success story. That's why we are making our East London plant ready for the future of mobility and the future of automobile production. I said a few minutes ago, but the number is worth repeating, we are investing 600 million euros, that's equivalent to 10 billion rand. With this investment, we are expanding the plant's capacity and we are making our future vision for East London a reality. And we are making East London smarter, we're making East London greener and more flexible. And on top of that, we are implementing technologies of tomorrow and we are driving digitization, which I see here to a great degree along the entire value chain. Industry 4.0 solutions, as we say in Germany, open up new possibilities that sounded unthinkable some years ago. Think of predictive maintenance as one example, or maximum transparency in the supply chain with radio frequency identification, RFIDs. All new stuff coming into South Africa, into this plant here and driven by South Africa. And these are just some examples of technologies that will allow us to further boost quality, efficiency and flexibility. In times of volatile markets and increasingly individual customer demands, smart production is a key success. It guarantees competitiveness today and in the future. So you see, considering our business, our investments here in East London makes a lot of sense. But it's more than just an economic decision. Above all, our investment is a strong signal for you, our workforce here in East London and the people of South Africa. And it shows that we place our trust in the region and this country and this continent. And our commitment here in South Africa comes with a vision. As we invest in our facilities, we want the entire region and the entire country to profit and to benefit from it. By this means, we believe we can help to build an even better South Africa that's not just rhetoric. I've got 6 reasons for it. And first of all, for Mercedes-Benz, it's taken to be granted that our responsibility does not end at the factory gates. Altogether, Daimler has 290,000 employees and does business in nearly every country in the world. As a global player of this size, we are well aware of the central role we play in society, and we are proud to accept it. That's why we, secondly, are actively engaged in education and qualification. One example is our Mercedes-Benz Learning Academy, which we saw some minutes ago. And the history goes back to 1981 when the technical training center was just started and opened over here. Today, after a major expansion and redesign, the Academy offers a high-quality training, not only for staff, but also to employees of our suppliers and other South African companies. Your Excellency, President Ramaphosa, I'm really looking forward to showing the Academy to you and will work further with the Academy and the society here. Speaking of local manufacturers leads me directly to the third good reason. We have committed ourselves to further localize our value chain here in South Africa. We are doing that especially by deepening our cooperation with local suppliers. In this way, we are also accelerating the country's entire industrial and economic development. This step will support black economic empowerment, which is an important companion on South Africa's path into a successful future. The fourth good reason why our investment will be beneficial way beyond the factory fence is the positive impact we will have on the country's economy. The expansion of the production capacity will create new jobs here on site and will be advantageous for South Africa's export balance. All these initiatives will, and that's reason number 5, help to improve living and labor conditions here in the Eastern Cape. And we are following this path further in fruitful dialogue with the unions, for example. But certainly not least, there's a reason number 6. And we know and we are supporting the program that you, Your Excellency President Ramaphosa, have for the future of this wonderful country. You, Mr. President, introduced a 10-point plan striving for a new deal for jobs, growth and transformation. The campaign aims for new investment, new work and new opportunities in education. Mr. President, when it comes to driving forward this initiative, you can definitely count us in. We believe that your strategy and our love and vision for our operation fit together very well. I started my speech with an African proverb, and I wanted to end with another one. If you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go together. I think this is saying is very, very true. With Mercedes-Benz proud history in South Africa in mind, we are following the road to long-term success with joint forces hand in hand with the local community and the government. And there's famous evidence for this, exhibited in our Mercedes-Benz Museum in Stuttgart, Germany. It's the red S-Class that workers from East London built for Nelson Mandela back in 1990 in voluntary extra shifts. As you know, this year Nelson Mandela would have turned 100 years old. South Africa is celebrating the centenary and of a great statesman and role model. And I'm glad on this occasion we are confirming the prosperous partnership between the government and the country of South Africa and our company. So please, Your Excellency President Ramaphosa, consider our investment as a sign of trust in the government of South Africa. We trust in your efforts to secure economic stability. We trust in your efforts to actively shape regulations and trade contracts. And we trust in your efforts to strengthen the attractiveness and the competitiveness for investors of this wonderful country. We know we can count on you as a strong partner for our business, and rest assured that you can count on us as a strong partner for your New Deal. Together, we are paving the way into a prosperous future for 60, maybe even 600 more successful years of Mercedes-Benz in South Africa. Thank you very much.
And thank you very much, Mr. Schaefer. Ladies and gentlemen, now I'm going to invite Dr. Rob Davies, Minister of Trade and Industry, to respond on behalf of South Africa.
Thank you very much, Program Director. Your Excellency, the President Ramaphosa, the Premier, my colleagues, ministers, Nene and Zulu, also the MEC, Mabuyani, the Executive Mayor, the dignitaries from this company, Mercedes-Benz, Mrs. Schaefer and Angling, the members of the board of Mercedes-Benz South Africa, the members of staff of this plant, the workers at this plant and their representatives, the diplomatic corps that's here present, and I think everybody else who spoke left out one important VIP who's present, and that is the member of the President's Investment Envoys, Mr. Jonas, who's here present as well. It's an enormous privilege and pleasure to be here and to have heard the announcement that we have just listened to, that there will be a 10 billion rand investment in the enlargement of this plant. That is something which is of very great significance for reasons that I'm going to attempt to outline. Let me also say that we are hoping that this investment here will lead to further investments by component manufacturers, including a number of whom are located in the East London IDZ just down the road. And our estimates are that this investment could lead to a further 2 billion rand of investment by component manufacturers. Mr. President, Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, the automotive sector in South Africa is really very central in our manufacturing industrialization future. The industry is the largest subsector of manufacturing in our country, and it contributes about 7% to the country's GDP. There are in the production, both by original equipment manufacturers like this and also by component manufacturers, there are at least 110,000 people who are employed. 80,000 of those in component manufacturing and the balance in OEM manufacturing. This industry also has very significant linkages to other parts of manufacturing. At least 6 other manufacturing subsectors are critically linked into the fortunes of the motor sector. In addition to that, the automotive sector itself supports related service sectors that are employing about 200,000 people in this country. So it's a very, very significant sector. Our department has been the immediate point for all investments in the automotive sector. We have been the custodian of the Automotive Production and Development Program, and the investment leg of that is called the Automotive Investment Scheme. The Automotive Investment Scheme, the AIS, came into force in 2009, and I'm happy to be able to say that in the period of its existence to date, excluding this announcement, the AIS has supported investments with a total value of 51 billion rand in the automotive industry. For that, we have deployed about 9 billion rand in direct incentive programs under the AIS. That has, over the years, contributed through 450 projects to adding at least 17,000 people to the payroll of these particular companies. As this AIS and APDP have unrolled over the years, we've seen a company like this, which is the largest single exporter of automotive products in South Africa, responsible this year alone for the export of 38,000 vehicles. We've seen this company here in East London, this plant here in East London rather, we've seen it move from being a bit of a laggard in the Daimler stable to actually being one of the best performing plants in the Daimler stable. And that is exemplified by the fact that in 2011, this plant won the J.D. Power Platinum Award for the best automotive export products into the United States. That award measures only on-time delivery and quality. And so what it means is it means that this particular plant has beaten in 2011 all the other plants that were producing exports of automotive products into the United States. A few years later, your fellow German company who has a plant in Rotterdam achieved the same. And that tells us that actually South Africans can be among the best in the world. South African workers can produce among the best in the world. We can be successful industrial manufacturers, and I think we all need a pat on the back and an applause. This company is a very significant part of the regional economy, of the city economy of this country, a mainstay of the East London IDZ next door. Also, this company is a citizen of our country as a whole. I want to salute this investment announcement as a statement of confidence that you have in our country. I want to say too that we know as well that we are now working on the successor program of the APDP, which will expire in 2020. We've had a very inclusive and very transparent process of going through a conversation of what are the next steps that we need to take to cement and deepen and strengthen our automotive industry in our country in the period leading up to 2035. I know there are still a few issues that we need to discuss and debate, but I can assure you that if we walk this journey together as we in government are committed to doing, I'm sure that we will take our country into a stage where automotive manufacturing is deeply established in our country and supports, as was already mentioned, many more companies in the supply chain, including the entry of black industrialists who become part of the supply chain of companies like this. I'm sure that can happen. This company has already set itself out on this journey, and we expect and are looking forward to working closely with you in the future. The last point I wanted to say is that products from this plant, I'm told, find export outlets in as many as 84 different countries in the world. I already mentioned the JD Power Awards at the United States. We all know, I think, that there are a number of challenges that we are going to have to be confronting to ensure that those markets remain open to our products. Let me assure you that I myself will be attending in a couple of weeks' time the AGOA Forum in Washington, and we will do everything that we can to ensure that cars that are made in East London here can continue to find a market in the United States of America, among other places. So it's a very great pleasure to be part of this particular occasion today. My last task, according to the program, is a pretty redundant task. It's to introduce the keynote speaker, the President of the Republic, President Ramaphosa. I've had to find this a redundant task because I don't think anybody doesn't know him, but I have found one way of doing it, and that is that we speak about partnerships, the kind of partnerships that we need to move our country forward, and we talk in particular about partnerships between business, labour and government. And I think that the President has got a distinguished record in all three of those legs. He was, I'm sure we all know, he started off as a young lawyer in the National Union of Mine Workers and became the president of that union at the height of its size and influence in the 1980s. He then became the Secretary General of the African National Congress, and he became the chair of the Constitutional Assembly, and is the major author, therefore, of the Constitution of this country. A distinguished enough career in government, and he didn't come back to it later on, but he did. Between that, though, he entered business and became a very significant player in the business community of this country, with Shanduka, his own company, but also sitting on the boards of many others. As you all know, he became the Deputy President after the 2012 ANC elections, and then in 2014 Deputy President of the country, and in 2017 President of the ANC and President of the Republic shortly thereafter at the beginning of this year. It's an enormous pleasure, therefore, to invite you, President Ramaphosa, to come and address this meeting. Thank you.
How do you greet in German? You'll teach me later. Program Director Date Modise, Premier of our province, the Eastern Cape, Comrade Umlo Muswale, Mr. Marcus Schaefer, a representative for Daimler-Benz, Germany, Minister of Trade and Industry, Dr. Rob Davis, Minister of Finance, Mr. Nhlanhla Nene, Minister of Small Business and Cooperatives, Ms. Lindiwe Zulu, MEC Oscar Mabuyane, Mayor Paula Pagati, representatives of the Daimler AG Board, executive directors of Mercedes-Benz here in South Africa, particularly Mr. Andreas England, independent board members of Mercedes-Benz here in South Africa, Mr. Jonas, investment envoy of our country, distinguished guests and ladies and gentlemen, and possibly, not even possibly, the most important people in this company and in this room right now, the workers of Mercedes-Benz in South Africa. Announcement or celebration of the announcement of this major new investment. It is particularly pleasing to be here in the year when we commemorate Nelson Mandela's centenary here in the province of Legends. This is even much more, for me personally, meaningful as I stand here and look at the vehicle that you built for Nelson Mandela in 1990 after he was released from prison. It is wonderful to see this red car, the car that you built with your own hands during your own free time as workers of this factory, as a gift to the legend and the icon of our struggle and democracy, Utatu Nelson Rolihlahla Mandela. And I'd like to thank you, as I did thank you then, for this great gift. It's wonderful to see this car, and I hope that it continues to be a clear demonstration of the love and the commitment and the dedication that you as workers of this company demonstrated not only to Madiba but to the whole country what you are all about. Thank you very much for giving this car to Madiba. Today we celebrate the announcement of an investment in the company's productive capacity to the value of 10 billion rand. This is a whooping 10 billion rand. It's not a Mickey Mouse amount, but it's a big amount, and we give thanks to Mercedes-Benz for this. Premier, this is an investment in the economy, not only of South Africa, but in the economy of the Eastern Cape. It is an investment in the future of Mercedes-Benz in South Africa, but more importantly, it is an investment in the people of our country and the people of this province. Mr. Schaefer, as you correctly say, this investment is a statement of trust, a statement of confidence that Mercedes-Benz is demonstrating to all and sundry in our country and beyond the shores of our country that South Africa is indeed a good investment destination, and we welcome you for having brought this investment here. In the 6 decades that Mercedes-Benz has been in South Africa, it has done much more than build cars. Yes, you have been about building cars, but you have also helped to build livelihoods. You have developed skills, you have created opportunities for many of our people, the workers who work in your factory, but the workers who work in other subsidiary companies that support the work your company does. You have created opportunities for women. I was pleased to see that you are taking in many women into the factory. Years ago, a factory like this, making cars, would have been a factory or was a factory where only men were employed. Today, it is wonderful to see so many women amongst the workers of this factory making cars, being mechanics. And all of you men must celebrate that all of a sudden your grouping as workers has just been made even more beautiful. It has been made to be more lookable. As you go around, you see these wonderful, talented women, young women mostly, who are turning around with spanners in their hands, fixing this and that. Mr. Schaefer, you have created a wonderful community here, and we want to thank you for that. Now, with this investment of 10 billion rand, Mercedes-Benz will touch the lives of many more people, and its work will even have more impact. We say this is an investment in people because it is an investment that is going to create more jobs. It is an investment that is going to sustain more employment. I am sure that this 10 billion rand investment has to create more job opportunities. How many there will be, you are still keeping it as a secret, but I can already calculate that quite a number of jobs are going to be created, and thank you for helping us with our job creation campaign here in the Eastern Cape. Thank you very much. We say this because employment, the creation of employment, is the most direct and sustainable way to tackle poverty and inequality. It empowers people, it improves the quality of their lives, and it also increases the prospects for their children. It is for this reason that South Africa has placed the creation of jobs, especially for young people, at the center of our economic policy. It is for this reason, too, that South Africa has embarked on an ambitious investment drive to encourage companies like Mercedes-Benz to see South Africa as an attractive investment destination. In all our efforts, we are focusing on investment, which, like this one that has been announced today here, expands the country's manufacturing sector, increases our export capacity, and contributes to job creation. We say this is an investment in people because it deepens the commitment that Mercedes-Benz has to developing skills and nurturing talent. Our visit earlier today to the Mercedes-Benz Learning Academy confirms that this company is indeed taking gigantic steps to place great value on apprenticeship and learnership programs. It understands that for this business to grow, for it to keep pace with rapid change in production methods, it needs to train new entrants and continuously go on upgrading the skills of its existing employees. It understands also that many of the skills that are required in the workplace are best developed here in the workplace. In prioritizing the development of the technical and vocational education and training sector, our government has emphasized the need for greater collaboration between our technical training colleges and companies in industries they are meant to serve. The skills that these colleges develop must be informed by the real needs of the industry. When I met Chancellor Angela Merkel of Germany a few weeks ago in Canada, I informed her that we were impressed with the way that German companies, particularly Germany as a country, was able to train people and to produce many artisans who make excellent products of great quality. I raised with her the need that we have as South Africa to be supported by countries like Germany that have excelled in the production of well-trained artisans, and said that it would be wonderful if Germany could play a supportive role. And she said, yes, Germany is prepared to assist and support us in our effort to produce many more artisans. So we look forward to this company and Germany as a country supporting us in training more and more young people. We are proud of the role that the Jobs Fund continues to play in supporting Mercedes-Benz Learning Academy, demonstrating the value of partnership and shared responsibility. When we set up the Jobs Fund and allocated funds to it, we hadn't really anticipated that in the end it would make such a wonderful contribution to the training of young people and the production of well-trained artisans. So I'd like to pay tribute to the people who are running the Jobs Fund and also the collaboration that they have forged with Mercedes-Benz. We say thank you very much. When I visited the Learning Academy, I was deeply impressed by the way that that academy is being run and the way that young people are being trained. Thank you very much for all that you are doing to produce our trained young people. Now, this process of the partnership should serve as a guide as well as an inspiration as we work to build what I call a social compact amongst government, business, labor, and civil society for job creation and skills development. It is only through working together in the implementation of a common program that we will succeed in creating employment, but also in ensuring that our people are well trained. We say this is an investment in people because it also builds networks of opportunity. Mercedes-Benz is not only investing in its own business, it is investing in the businesses of a number of suppliers and in the development of the infrastructure that supports the production and export of vehicles. The multiplier effect is particularly strong in manufacturing, which typically requires many inputs from a wide range of suppliers from different industries. And this is particularly important for us as we pursue the Black Economic Empowerment Agenda, where we want, Mr. Schaefer, as you correctly said, to make sure that many of our people who were previously prevented from getting into real mainstream business get into the mainstream business, where many of our people were even prevented from becoming industrialists, do become industrialists. So we look forward for this investment being able to be mirrored and to be supported and also to be emulated, but also to help the mushrooming of many others, particularly the small, medium enterprises that is led by my sister here, Lindy Wezulu. So this investment should never be seen in isolation. It is an investment that is going to have an impact beyond the doors or the gates of this factory. We expect that you will, as Mercedes-Benz, also be able to support a number of black emerging businesses that will come into the supply chain and help Mercedes-Benz reach the levels of great quality and making great products. But we also, as I saw a number of young women being trained here, we also expect that out of this will also mushroom a number of women-led businesses who will also get into business and be in the whole value chain of this whole effort of making the vehicles that you make. So this is a great investment, and we applaud it, because out of it we are going and expect to see much more than just the 10 billion rand. We expect to see many more billions of rands being invested in this network so that we can many more businesses. And we thank Mercedes-Benz once again for this wonderful initiative. Thank you very much, sir. The decision by Mercedes-Benz to further increase its investment in South Africa, as I said, is a sign of confidence in our economy. It is a statement about the skills that are available in South Africa and those that can be developed. I'm informed, as the Minister of Trade and Industry said earlier, that this factory now ranks among some of the best Mercedes-Benz factories in the world. You started off right at the bottom, but now you have risen, I am told, to be amongst the top 3 or 5 best factories of Mercedes-Benz, not in South Africa, not in Africa, but in the whole world. If you like, the whole planet, that is what you are. And this, for us, is a great achievement. It is a great achievement that here in South Africa, in the southern tip of our African continent, we have workers like you who, as you do your work, commit yourselves and produce the best products that are driven in the streets of London, that are driven in the streets of Beijing, that are driven, yes, in the streets of Washington. And I'm told even Donald Trump's car is a Mercedes-Benz. Who knows? Maybe it comes from you. And we say, wonderful. that you are able to make products that are so well made. But I also want to pay tribute to you, because as we heard earlier, that you do this on the basis of 99% attendance at work. That is a great achievement, because it shows that you are real industrial workers. Now, let me tell you, this gives us a great deal of pride as South Africa, that we have industrial workers. We have workers who produce some of the best products in the world, here in Africa, here in South Africa. And that as you do so with great commitment, you do so with great love, as it were, and you attend to your work on a 99% attendance. I can't fault that. It means that you are industrial workers right up there with the best industrial workers in the whole world. But to top it on, you have also won what they call the AD or the JD award, meaning that you were the topmost quality producers of Mercedes-Benz in the whole world, and that is why you won this award. And we thank you for that. This investment should send a clear signal to investors around the world that South Africa is more than capable of sustaining an advanced and modern manufacturing sector, and doing this profitably, doing this efficiently and sustainably. This investment reinforces government's commitment to developing the auto industry in South Africa and says much about the success of our automotive production and development program. What has been achieved in the auto manufacturing sector underscores the value of well-designed, effectively targeted incentive programs in industries that have great potential for growth and job creation. As a government, we are proud to be supporting this industry. We are proud to be subsidizing this industry and putting in incentives, as you heard Minister Davis say, because we know that we are supporting the livelihoods of tens and tens of thousands of our people. You can be rest assured that our government stands behind you as industrial workers. Our government stands behind this industry, and we are glad that we've got partners like Mercedes-Benz who will, as they see us support this industry, be bringing in more and more investments. Mr. Schaefer, we want you to bring more investment. This 10 billion must not be the last 10 billion. We want to see more of this. Now, one of the things that we want to see happening, which Mr. Schaefer has also supported, is that as we promote this process of industrialization, we want to promote local procurement in both the public and the private sectors to stimulate demand for local goods. I have been informed that Mercedes-Benz is willing to procure local products and is willing to localize, so that as you make your products here, yes, some parts will come from Germany, but we also want to see some parts that will come from South Africa here. And Mr. Schaefer demonstrated this very well to me as we were looking at some of the vehicles which were being demonstrated. He said, I asked, where does this part come from? Where does this part come from? He said, well, this one comes from Germany, This one comes from Germany. But we will be very happy if foundries are established here in South Africa to make some of the parts that go into the makeup of the Mercedes-Benz. So Mr. Schaefer is open to localization, and I want to applaud him because he says they want to see some parts of your vehicles being made here. And I say, Mr. Schaefer, thank you very much. We welcome this. I want to conclude by congratulating Mercedes-Benz Group for having embraced so enthusiastically this opportunity to expand its manufacturing business in South Africa. It is a testimony to the success of the company over many years, but it is also a testimony to the skills and capabilities of its employees. I also want to congratulate and pay tribute to the workers of this factory and also its great union. Many of the workers here are members of the great union NUMSA, and I want to pay tribute to you. I also want to applaud you as workers for your diligence as well as your attendance, and you are original equipment manufacturers. Now, to be called an original equipment manufacturer means that you are not Mickey Mouse, you are the real thing. And this I applaud you for. Now, Mercedes-Benz, in our language, has entered what we call the new dawn with a great deal of confidence. It has made an investment in the people of this country. I do hope that many other companies follow your example as Mercedes-Benz. The example that you have demonstrated and the foresight that you have shown to bring to South Africa 10 billion rand. And I know that many companies around the country and around the world keep asking themselves whether, yes, they should put more money into South Africa, whether they should invest in South Africa. And I want to thank you, Mercedes-Benz, because once again you have shown great leadership. And we say we want other countries, other companies rather, to look at what you have done and follow in your wake. Because what you have done is a sign of leadership, is a sign of great confidence in the people of this country, in the workers of this country, but more importantly, in the workers of this factory here. And we applaud you, and we hope that others will follow. My brother here, my brother Ngeti Jonas, is one of the investment envoys that I appointed some months ago, together with 3 others, to go out into the world and go and campaign for us to win $100 billion in the next 5 years to be brought into this country. Now you can already see when we open up our country for investment what happens. It basically means that companies come and invest in our country, in our economy, to create more jobs, but also to create more opportunities for a whole number of other companies, small, medium, and large. And this is what we are going to be doing in the next 5 years to campaign for $1.3 trillion rand to come into our economy for further investment. Now, this is a great stepping stone for us as we move to that 1.3 trillion rand. Yesterday, I had occasion to welcome back Old Mutual, which had left our country to be listed in London. They have now come back to South Africa, and as they came back, they brought back with them $10 billion back into South Africa So yesterday and today was a great day. Yesterday and today was a great day for investments in our country. We brought back $10 billion, which now makes my brother Jonas's task a lot easier. He now has to go and find $90 billion. And now with this 10 billion rand, he has to find a little less. So today and yesterday was a great day for South Africa, because it means that we are demonstrating, showing, and proving that indeed South Africa is open for business. We are serious about creating jobs. We are also serious about making sure that our people become more and more skilled, but we are also serious about empowerment of our people, and we are also serious about empowerment of women in our country. So today is a day for celebration, and we thank Mercedes-Benz, but more importantly, we thank all of you for the wonderful work that you do that have given great confidence for a company like Mercedes-Benz to come back and invest 10 billion rand in our country. So I say forward with Mercedes-Benz, forward. Forward with the workers of Mercedes-Benz, forward. Thank you very much.
Mr. President. Mr. President, if I may ask for a small favor, publicly. I'm going to ask the President to do the honors of signing this steering wheel. Mr. Marcus Schaefer, if you could please come forward, so that the whole forward movement is established here today. And this is the...
Right, so that has been a live crossing in East London in the Eastern Cape, where Mercedes-Benz has just made an announcement that will be investing 10 billion rand in its East London operation. President Ramaphosa thanked Mercedes-Benz, saying it's an investment in the people of South Africa and it's a statement of trust and confidence in the South African economy, sending a signal to the world that South Africa is a prime investment destination. And what the scenes you're seeing right now is President Ramaphosa and Marcus Schaefer, who's a divisional board director of Daimler, signing a steering wheel, I think marking this significant investment of 10 billion rand in the next few years, upgrading the East London operation. And the President, very, very happy, said that today and yesterday, where Old Mutual was coming back into the country, having listed abroad, is a sign that a growing confidence in the South African story. So Mercedes-Benz there, the divisional director, Marcus Schaefer, standing next to the President, signaling this upgrade in the East London plant, which has become a very integral part of the Mercedes business globally. The Minister of Trade and Industry, Rob Davies, earlier on had been commenting earlier on that the East London plant had been for many years seen as being a little bit of a laggard in terms of its contribution, but in time it has become very much a prominent part in the global picture of Mercedes-Benz, and it also was a testimony to the skills that are available in South Africa and the skills that can be trained up in South Africa. The President was very excited and happy that in the 60 years that the company Mercedes-Benz has been in South Africa, it has been more than just a builder of cars. It was also a builder of people and livelihoods, building skills and especially empowering women, which is something that pleased him a great deal. He added that this additional investment into South Africa's vehicle manufacturing industry will create many, many jobs in the province and in the region, but also downstream industries that support the automotive sector, as well as many many small businesses would benefit from this huge investment. Earlier on, in making the announcement, Mercedes-Benz Divisional Board Director Marcus Schaefer spoke about how East London's plant will continue to become an integral part of the global business, and this investment will see significant digitization, upgrade in technology that will be world-class, that will be seen in South Africa's shores with this important partnership between Mercedes-Benz and the government of South Africa. And President Ramaphosa said that his investment is in line with the country's drive to raise about $100 billion in the next 5 years or so. And so he said that it must be applauded, that it will benefit beyond the gates of East London's plant. And Trade Industry Minister Rob Davies again reiterating that this was an investment by the components manufacturing sector. He reiterated that this investment is a sign of confidence in the South African economy. So that's it. Mercedes-Benz saying that they're investing 600 million euros, 10 billion rand in South Africa. And the East London plant is going to be looking completely different, but contributing to the global business of Daimler-Benz. The president said that yesterday he saw Old Mutual coming back with an investment of $10 billion. It had been abroad, listing in the UK, but today and yesterday, again, signs that there is confidence, growing confidence in the South African economy and the efforts that the government is making, and that he hoped that other countries and other investors around the world will take note of what's happened in the last 2 days and follow suit and invest in the country as well. All right, that's where we're going to leave it for the time